What's going on, everyone? So the Los Angeles Lakers desperately need a center. It's incredibly obvious. We all know it. But beyond that, the market itself is very limited on just quality centers, right? They're all older. They're all aging. They're all like a liability in some capacity, right? And it's not like this great treasure trove of centers. But the Lakers just kind of need a center. And you're just looking for somebody to be in that backup role really more than anything, unless you can get a top tier center. But you look at the options, right? Jonas Valanciunas, in my opinion, is probably the most likely, right? If it was like, oh, hey, Tyler, which center would you place a wager on to be a Laker? Like, that is the one I'd probably say I'd probably put some money on. Beyond that, ideally, Walker Kessler, I think, is the best candidate of centers we know that are available. I think Walker Kessler not only gives you a guy now that can get you a double-double, plus one of the best rim protectors in the league. He's a guy that's young enough to be your center for the next 10-plus years. Now you have your center position locked up for now and the future. Whenever LeBron decides to ride off into the sunset, boom, you just move AD to the 4. You got Kessler at the 5. Now you're big. You got rim protection. You're versatile. I really like that idea, but the asking price is just too much, right? Like, the Lakers can't sell the farm to go get Walker Kessler, and then that's it, because they need more than just a center, right? It's not like, oh, if you get Walker Kessler, that's it, Lakers are winning a championship. No, it's like, you need Kessler but I do think Kessler can make a real impact. Then beyond that, it's like Brook Lopez, who, he's coming off a great game, but he's 36. He's had his struggles for the most part this season. How much of it is just decline? How much of it is just the Bucks are a disaster this season? But he's also not, like, at what point does he just kind of fall off a cliff is a concern. But, he does make some sense, especially if you can kind of get the version that you saw like last year or the year prior, or, the one you saw on the other night. And then it's like, Nikola Vucevic, who he's solid, but he's $20 million a year. Even Brook Lopez is $23 million a year, and there are a second apron team, so you'd have to find a third team. It's really difficult. So, question then becomes, should the Lakers wait, right? Even if Valanciunas does become available, which I believe is December 15th, should the Lakers wait for Myles Turner? Now, one, there is a possibility that Myles Turner never becomes available, so you're taking a risk that Indiana kind of feels some pressure to move off of Myles Turner. Well, why would they feel some pressure to move off of Myles Turner? Well, one, he could just leave them in the offseason. And the Lakers could free up enough flexibility to just sign him outright on a reasonable, not like for like $40 million if that's what he wants, but like if he is willing to take a similar contract, right? LeBron could take he could take a vet minimum if he wanted to. Now, he's not going to do that, but he could take, $20 million, and then D'Lo, his $18.6 million falls off the books, plus your vet minimum guys. Worst case, you could do a salary dump trade or something, all right, especially if you can sign him and other pieces, right? So there is that risk. Myles Turner was supposed to be a Laker now twice already, and just Genie Bus decided to veto that trade. We would have Buddy Hield and Myles Turner. Look at how Buddy Hield is playing right now. Man. But beyond that, the Indiana Pacers do not look great this season. Indiana is not a team that is not where they want to be. Now, obviously, it's early in the season. Obviously, things can change. But Tyrese Halliburton, he's really had his struggles this year, and they do not. Did anyone really think that they were a conference finals team last year? Right? Like, if the Knicks were healthy last year, they probably beat Indiana, and then Indiana just kind of got ran through. I know that they were in the in-season tournament, championship, and stuff like that, but again, it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't think Indiana's a bad team, but I don't think that they're a top 5 to 7 team in the NBA. Like, I don't look at Indiana and go, oh man, like they're one of the best teams in the NBA. They're just in a weak East to where, if they go on any type of significant run, they could once again be in the conference finals or even potentially be in the NBA finals. Get the dice kind of rolling your way, right? There's really only like a couple teams you have to beat, but in the grand scheme of things, no, right? Like, I think that there's 7, 8, 9, 10 teams that are probably better than they are. But if they start picking stuff up, then I think that they'll be more willing to kind of be patient and let things play out. But if they continue to have their struggles, Myles Turner starts getting a little itchy there. I don't think it's far-fetched to think that they might go, you know what, hey, maybe we should at least consider it. right? Because you got to imagine that they're gonna want to touch base and have some gauge at some point. The thing is that means the Lakers' bare minimum would have to go till the trade deadline, because they're not going to trade Myles Turner next week, next month. Even if they start taking, they're going to be patient in trading Myles Turner. And if there's any inclination, that he's willing to stick around and sign a new contract, I think that that's it. I think that they'll keep him. I don't think that they'll even consider moving him, because they could also work out a sign and trade, as we saw a ton this offseason, right? So they could also do what many teams were doing this past season, which was working on sign and trades. So, I mean, the Lakers could still work out a sign and trade with Indiana if, like, he really wants to go to Lakers, which, again, he was open to it. I mean, he, in an interview, was like, if I was the Lakers, I would come get me type thing, right? Like, so he's wanted the Lakers, but does he also now, like we saw with Paul George, right? Lakers didn't trade for him. He had the opportunity to come, and he was like, nah, these guys wanted me more, clearly, and ended up getting in his feelings and staying. And then they ended up trading him, like, a couple weeks later to to the Clippers. But, you look at, like Indiana, and it's like, does Myles Turner go, hey, this team was willing to pay me. Yeah, we had our kind of differences, but you didn't want to trade for me. You didn't think that I was worth it. You vetoed that deal. I was on my way to you. Look how badly you could have used me. The other thing is, too, that you have to keep in mind, is if you go and get Myles Turner, he's going to start. You're not going to get Myles Turner to not have him start. So is LeBron willing to move over and play the 3? Because that's what you're going to need, right? On offense, he's usually out there anyway. He's anywhere, kind of that 1 through 3 spot. He's out on the perimeter. But defensively, LeBron's playing the 4 for defensive purposes, because he can kind of play in that free safety scout role. He doesn't have to do all the things that are required from a 3, which is, you got to chase down live balls. You got to be active out on the perimeter. It's your job to protect the 3-point shooting. You got to chase down loose rebounding or long ball rebounds, right? Like, there's so much that you have to be mindful for, and most of the action is on the strong side, right? So you everything is in your space. Right, where when he's on the weak side, he's playing the power forward spot. The 4, he can kind of just hang out, right? And usually the forwards and stuff like that are playing that spot, they're usually either like more stockier 3s or like worse shooting 3s. So like LeBron matches up really well. They're all like the same size as him, and they're usually not as good shooters, right? Like, for example, Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon's like 28% or something ridiculous like that on the weak side, but he's like 41% on the strong side, right? Like, that's why you'll see them running a lot of action on him where he's in that tucked away in that strong side corner, because, but when he's on the weak side, like, LeBron can just let him shoot, right? Like, oh, okay, I'll play the percentages, and he can kind of just rebound and stuff like that. But now it's like he's got to do all that other stuff while chasing around younger, twitchier, more athletic wings. It's a lot to put on LeBron, right? But if you get Myles Turner and then get a couple other pieces, because luckily Myles he's not making 30, 40 million, right? Like, so he's in the range of like a Vucevic and guys like that, but I also think he is exactly what the Lakers need. Can stretch the floor, score from pretty much anywhere on the basketball court, gives you that rim protection, right? Like, he would be great for the Lakers. Him and Anthony Davis, just like, good luck. Again, he's still young enough to where you could have him for the next 5-6 years. Like, him and Anthony Davis can kind of be your front court of the future. And then, whenever LeBron rides off in the sunset, maybe at some point you're moving in Connect, or, maybe you're going to get in a 3 and then Connect's playing the 2, right? Like, you just got options there. But I think even if you were able to get Myles Turner, I still think you need something else. However, it's just, look, it's, in my opinion, I think it's a very long shot, right? If I'm being honest, I think it's something that I don't, like, I would love to have Myles Turner, right? Like, he might be my second favorite behind Walker Kessler, and the only reason I like Walker Kessler more is because he's just, again, you have him for like the next 10 plus years, and he's still so far from a finished product. And he can play the bench role where you can have LeBron at the 4, still 80 at the 5. I just think for right now, right, without kind of begging the questions that would present itself with like a Myles Turner, but I mean, Myles Turner probably is the better help now center. The only reason I like Kessler too is that he's so cheap that he doesn't impact any other trades. So like you could go get Kessler and still go get like a Bruce Brown and a Cam Johnson, or a Jeremy Grant and a Dennis Schroeder or whatever, right? Like you could still go get 2 or 3 other pieces. Where like a Myles Turner, you're probably looking at one more piece, which again, don't underestimate the value of 1 or 2 just high-end pieces, which I believe Myles Turner is a high-end piece. But it's just there are some questions that definitely need to be answered before that's a thing. But I think if you're the Lakers, I do think you remain patient. And unless Walker Kessler, like Utah calls and they're like, all right, we'll give you a first, like just give us one first and you can have them, remove the protections on the other one we have, then I think you still remain patient, right? Like almost all these guys are going nowhere. Valanciunas, I could see the Knicks maybe making a play on when he becomes available because the Knicks really need a backup center, which, do they just wait for Mitchell Robinson at that point? But they've been very active in trying to find another center. But if I wouldn't be shocked if he's still there, right? Like I don't know how hard the Knicks will push for him, is my thing. And are they going to be willing to trade Deuce McBride? Because that's probably what it's going to take. Although they could, like, I don't know, the Knicks are in like a weird spot. Like they're still targeting like everybody. And it's just like, how are they going to do it? But they've worked their magic for Karl Anthony Towns and stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised. But I think we have more likely of a chance of signing Myles Turner in the offseason than we do actually trading for him this year. But like I said, I think it's something that you at least need to keep an eye on. Something at least worth, kind of monitoring and seeing what happens. But, time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that, like, yes, be patient, wait for Myles Turner? Do you think, no, don't wait for Myles Turner? It's just, he's not going to come. It's just, you're waiting on a pipe dream. You're better off, if he wants to come in the offseason, you figure it out then type thing. But, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.